Hey guys, ESR Stone back at it again for another video. This time we're back with some more AOR highlights. This time coming from Monza, where I did take my first AOR race win back in season 11. You know, that irrelevant season that really nobody really remembers. Probably because there was nothing done about it apart from the odd YouTube video that was uploaded by like 3 people. But now we're back in season 14 around Monza, as I said, and as you can see, qualifying in the intermediate conditions. So I must say I was not confident again. I know I made that bold statement, which I keep mentioning every time it's fucking wet, that I am the best in the wet. But every time it rains, I'm always never confident. So you know, that's not exactly amazing for someone who claims to be the best. But you know what? We're going to get over that. As because it wouldn't be starting at our lap now. Monza intermediate conditions. Obviously, I didn't do any practice in the wet, so I was going to be braking just before the 150-meter board, sort of trail braking in because it's very easy to lock up. Try not to clip the apexes or not mount the curbs too much. Getting into 4th gear because 4th gear's usually got the better traction, but trying not to oversteer a bit too much. Staying as close to the apex here as possible, just trying to use up as little track as possible, and then coming into here, you're going to be braking just before the barrier on the right hand side ends, taking a bit too much curb there, and at that point I kind of knew, alright, I wasn't getting pole because I didn't take up the apex on the inside that gained you like 2 or 3 tenths. In the wet that would have been crucial, as you can see, getting a bit of oversteer as well. Braking before the 50-meter board down into 5th gear, trying to control the power. As you can see, we're very oversteering right now because we're just very eager to get on the power. Coming down into Ascari now, we'll be braking I think again where the barrier ends on the right hand side and going down into 5th gear, try not to corner cut. Using a little bit too much curb there into 6th gear, trying to control the power. Once again we're oversteering, so it's not exactly a great lap at the moment, but the Flying Fin did set I can't really see what the time, I think it was a 29.4, and we're up by half a second. So if we can just control the rear end here, which we just haven't done, we could have been on for pole, but we're going to race to the line, and it's 2nd place. So that oversteer moment out of the last corner cost us any chance at pole, and as you can see, we did actually drop down to 4th. But interestingly, surprise of the day, EVR Cal on pole for the Italian Grand Prix. Mega lap from him, so you know, fair dues. Sally, or Finn, was in 2nd. We got beaten by Simon. We've beaten Surprise, RG Matiz, Danny M7 making his AOR return ahead of Jason, Evo, Lockdown, Reynolds, Carl Mitch. Well, EVR Reynolds the last of the actual qualifiers, while everyone else had quali bans. But starting P4, and I was very much aware that I can get better starts than the 4 guys in front, than the 3 guys in front of me. So, you know, confidence was high going into turn 1, but we now have 5 red lights for the Italian Grand Prix, and it's the lights out went very quick. As you can see, we get a mega start on Simon, getting as you can visually see, a better start than Finn and Cal, but there's just nowhere for us to go because it's so narrow here. Defending the inside line so no one can dive it down or inside, but we've taken a lot of curb over in 2nd gear, which isn't exactly fantastic. Flying Finn side by side with EVR Cal, our teammate. Now we're just praying that they can continue going side by side. Finn's gonna have the lead as he very aggressively moves across him there. It's a little bit iffy driving there, I would have to say, but we'll let it slide. Sally not exactly getting a great run. Cal once again side by side with him, but he's not going to really want to go side by side through the Lesmos. And coming through the 2nd Lesmo now, and you might have noticed, I think did at this point, I'm not quite sure, but as STSF on Alonso retires from the session, purposely crashing out and doing a backflip, as you would have seen on stream. But I once again, I made the same mistake as I did in the OC, but I didn't actually change my setup again. Qualifying was in the wet, race was in the dry. I changed my differential and my front downforce, and I didn't change it back for the race. So at the moment we're running with 3.5 aero. As you can see, I changed my differential because I realised, you know, I can change this during. Thankfully, these were the 2 things that I can change during the race. But for the first part of this race, we're going to be running with 3 front wing, which is going to be really hindering us down the straight, but at least through the corners will be a bit better. As you can see, Simon goes wide behind us, and he's gonna start going side by side with Surprise. So if they start battling, then it's helping us really. As you see, we actually cut from lap 2 to lap 3 now. Still hanging on to the back of Cal and Finn, despite the wrong setup being applied at the moment. I mean, we've changed our differential, but now it's just our aero, which is the biggest hindrance. And as you can see, Cal has the X across his name, and now we've got a lag spike. I mean, what do I say about that? Yeah, okay, so let me explain what exactly just happened. So Cal and Finn had the X's beside their names, so when I saw that, I automatically just assumed, oh, okay, so I've disconnected from the session at this point, so I'm going to end up lagging out. I'm going to need an invite back, and that's going to be P3 out the window, and my car's going to start feeling like shit. And then I had the screen freeze, which to me signified, alright, that's my race over there. So I just decided, you know what, I'm not going to bother turning in for the corner really, I'm going to just go straight into the gravel. But I stayed in the session, so I assumed that I was about to get kicked. The only time I've ever assumed I'm getting kicked from the session, I stayed, and I went from P3 to P13. I mean, if there's anything more fucking heartbreaking, I don't know what is, because that's just ridiculous. I mean, this game is just fucking trash. The fact, like, this shit can even happen, like, I'm aware screen freezes have been in the game before. Oh, but I've been in previous games, but, like, shit like that just shouldn't happen. But, you know what, fucking Codemasters, I really couldn't give a toss anymore. But either way, we're going to get back into the race. We're still going to be fighting on. We've still got a race to try and do. We still got points to attempt and earn. That didn't make any sense. But Carl Mitchell and Langman having the worst battle I've ever seen in my life. The two laggiest drivers in the league, just fighting it out. And I mean, this is just ridiculous. I've cut the end of Ascari, but really, Carl Mitchell, I couldn't give a fuck, to be perfectly honest. He's been the cause of my race being ended twice, and he shouldn't be in the league in the first place. I'm not going to go into that because too many drivers complained about him, but he's still in the league. But now we've got Langman, who's now lagging as well, so it just makes things so much better. I can't be fucked getting into a slipstream because I'm too scared that my car's going to get fucking sent to Narnia. But we're going to outbrake him anyway going into the first corner, thankfully. I think he might have just allowed us to go past anyway. I think Carl Mitchell's gone into the pits. But Langman did have wing damage as well, so that was a thing. As you can see, we're coming into the pits now, lap 11. Trying to get an undercut on some of the drivers in front, although a couple of them did start on the soft tyres to go on super softs at the end. So we're going to have to try and use this set of softs to our advantage, and we're also going to be getting our front wing changed to 1 downforce, so that we have better straight line speed now, and overall I'll have better pace, which is what I want really. And we're going to be coming up the pits now. Q-Flux, we're actually in P10 now. That is because Q-Flux, which is Sarah Hamilton, he actually disconnected from the session, and he needed to be re-invited back, but in the time that he wasn't in the session, he ended up losing about 15 to 20 seconds, so he ended up losing his points position at that time, which is quite unfortunate for him. Because I think he could have been in for a really good race at that point. As you see, skipping on to lap 13, there is ESR Simon who's coming out in front of us. So, and we were catching him before the pit stops, so I had a bit of confidence that we could get him. I'm not sure if he had front wing damage or something, because his driving was just all over the place. Maybe it was a setup issue, or I don't know what it was. But he was all over the place, I'm pretty sure. But now we just need to try and overtake him, since we're trying to get up the field as quickly as possible, losing as little time. But as you can see, we make a mistake there, but then Simon then makes a mistake. So if I didn't fuck that up, we probably could have got past him, but now we have to sit behind him for an extra couple of corners. And you can just see, like, he's just all over the place. He's going really slowly through corners. and he just lets us past. Again, I don't know what the issue was, but you know, we'll let that slide, as my game footage seems to be sort of laggy. I'm not quite sure, so probably going to have to fix up the audio for this. As you can see, lap 26, we're now in P8. Tyrrell Limitless had an issue. He spun and he then made a pit stop to try and go for fastest lap, although he did just, for no real reason, sacrifice a good 3 points, I would say, which could be crucial come the end of the season. Obviously, he's pretty much out of the championship fight now, which is fortunate considering he won the first race. But anyway, we've got Matiz, who's actually now in front of us. He had a bit of a moment out of Ascari and actually kind of dumped it, really. So now he's in front of us, so I smelt blood. I thought, you know what, we might as well go for a last lap hurrah. We haven't got much fuel, but you know what, the points are crucial at the moment because OMG It's Joe isn't racing today, so if we can get P8 in the championship, that means I could get my fourth car choice in AOR, which will be crucial for my own confidence in terms of getting the car that I want. But as you can see, we made a mistake there, which killed off any chance we had of getting even close to Matiz, and it would have been a push anyway. And as you can see, going wide there, just topping it off. We did have a penalty anyway, and Matiz didn't, so not like it really mattered. But as you can see, in fury, I drive into the wall. But to be honest, the race was just a pile of shit. I've lost myself P3 or even just a podium in general. The third race I've done that. So it's not going well. As you can see, there's the championship standings. Flying Finn now 91 points clear of Matiz. So, you know, the championship's basically wrapped up. JD in third ahead of Evo, Surprise, Jason, Sonic, OMG It's Joe and myself. I'm now 3 points behind Joe. Simon, Cal jumps up. Cal actually missed out on the podium, although he was in the podium positions for quite a lot of the race. Danny M7 is apparently American, which is great to see. Cry Lockdown, Langman, Taylor the Vol, or Evio Reynolds, Sarah Hamilton, which is Jack, and Carl Mitchell. That's basically that. I'm going to be Singapore's next, probably the greatest wheel track you could ever see, apart from Monaco. But you know, we've still got to try and go out and do what we got to do to try and get P8 in the championship. That's it from me, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. Like it if you did, subscribe if you're new for more League Racing content, and I will see you guys in my next video. Cheers.